Hi folks, John here, and as you can notice we're not at the glass house today, but I am on the clock. So you're in for a real treat today. Today Rebecca, who is on the other side of the camera, has come with me and we're going to go into my backyard and I'm going to show you how to grow a garden in confined spaces. So let's travel on back down through the aisleway here. So a year ago I had quite a large pyramid cedar here, and for some reason it didn't like it, so it croaked, so I cut it down. Then I had this big empty space. So now I've just filled it with lots of color, and it gives me an opportunity to see how things behave and act and grow, and it allows me to be able to share that information with you, and it's part of my passion. Here's an old school desk that my wife picked up off the road, and I said, honey, you're crazy. So I brought it back here. The drawer we pulled out, put a plastic pot into it. We put a plastic pot in here and we just added a real splash of color, and we kept something out of the landfill site. This is where I come and relax and have a cold beer after work. Enjoy the trickling sound of the water. I have a real small pond here. And again, you can see I've got lots of color in an area that would normally be problematic. It's a full shade almost all day. It gets 2 or 3 hours of sun. So I love this area of my backyard because it allows me to grow those plants that just love the shade. Tropicals just thrive in this area. So on this side of my yard, as you can see, I get full sun most of the day. Around 3 o'clock it starts to shade over. One thing I really wanted to show you is I'm utilizing my fence here. What I've done is I've taken a piece of plywood and I drilled a hole through it. And I ran a 12 gauge wire almost the whole length of my yard. This allows me to tie strings down to my tomatoes and my peppers. Everything I grow is always up. I grow all my cucumbers up, my tomatoes up, my peppers up. It allows me to utilize my space better and still gives me my path that I want. So we can travel on down. As you can see, I've got lots of tomatoes. Here's a zucchini. One thing I wanted to share with you about zucchini is people say it gets so large and needs a lot of space, and that's very true. But you know, you can come in and you can cut off some of these big leaves as long as you only cut off 2 or 3 at a time. That keeps it growing more up, and you can still grow things in the front. Here you can see I've got some climbing beans. Another piece of road garbage, if you want to call it. One man's garbage is another man's treasure. Found this on the side of the road, kept it on the landfill site, and creates this climbing mechanism for my beans and my snow peas. These were planted the weekend after Easter. Down here I've got some fennel, which is beautiful in a salad. I've got some onions, lettuce, and how about right in here, Rebecca? I got my climbing cucumbers. This side's cucumbers, this side's pickles. I've got some more tomatoes. I've got some radicchio growing here. So as you can see, it's a pretty confined space, but as things produce, like the peas will only last another 2 or 3 weeks, and it's going to be taken down. These beans will only last about 6 weeks or so, and then I have a new crop coming up. So as stuff gets taken down, it lets more light in. So taking a small area and just start experimenting year after year, and you'll find out what grows best where and how much space you need. So don't be afraid to use those tiny little spaces and start to reap some of your rewards. Thanks for coming. We'll see you again, folks.